Why is it that when millions of people are shouting at their TVs, losing sleep, celebrating or falling apart over a single game, you're standing on the sidelines, calm, detached, almost observational, quietly wondering, is this really worth all that emotion? Why is it that when conversations turn to teams, scores and last-second wins, you try to stay engaged, nod along, participate, yet never feel that spark, the rush, the collective excitement, the powerful sense of we're in this together that everyone else seems to share? And why is it that when you realise you simply don't care about sports, you begin to question yourself instead? Am I too detached? Am I missing something emotionally? Is there something wrong with me that I can't feel deeply invested in the outcome of 11 strangers on a field? If these thoughts feel familiar, then today's conversation is not about convincing you to like sports. And it's not about telling you to be more enthusiastic, more social, or more like everyone else. What we're exploring instead is a reality that's often misunderstood, but well documented in psychology and neuroscience. Not caring about sports does not mean you're boring, emotionally cold, or lacking passion. And why for some people sports function as a powerful form of tribal belonging, while for you the moments that make you feel most alive were never meant to happen in a stadium. If you watch sports fans closely, you'll notice that what's happening goes far beyond watching a game. What you're really seeing is an instant activation of belonging. In bars, living rooms, or packed stadiums, complete strangers bond within minutes over a shared team, a single goal, and everyone jumps up together, cheering, hugging, high-fiving in perfect synchrony. To the human brain, this kind of emotional alignment is deeply familiar. Psychology has long shown that humans are wired for tribal connection. Throughout most of our evolutionary history, belonging to a group meant safety, resources, and survival. Sports offer a modern, low-risk gateway into that same ancient system. Neuroscience research shows that when fans watch a team they support, their brains release oxytocin, a hormone associated with trust, bonding, and emotional connection. This is the same chemical involved in close relationships and family attachment. That's why people instinctively say, "We won." In that moment, the team stops being a group of strangers and is temporarily categorized by the brain as us. For most people, the appeal of sports isn't analytical. It's emotional. It's about being wrapped into a shared narrative, standing on the same side, experiencing the same story together. This isn't mindless conformity, and it isn't immaturity. It's a highly efficient, deeply human mechanism for emotional bonding, one that requires almost no effort to activate, because the brain already knows exactly how to use it. But if you've never been able to get into sports, the reason is usually not a lack of understanding. It's a difference in how your reward system responds. For sports fans, every play, every comeback, every last-second shot triggers dopamine release, the same chemical linked to anticipation and reward. It's that familiar feeling of excitement, like waiting to unwrap a gift. Neuroimaging studies show that when people watch a team they support, the brain's reward circuits activate at levels comparable to other high-stimulation activities, including gambling. What makes this especially powerful is not winning itself, but uncertainty. You don't know what will happen next. That unpredictability keeps dopamine flowing moment by moment. Psychology refers to this mechanism as intermittent reinforcement, one of the most addictive reward patterns known. Slot machines work on the exact same principle. But for people who don't care much about sports, this system simply doesn't light up in the same way. Even during intense matches, the brain doesn't register the game as a meaningful source of reward. The competition is indirect, the stakes are symbolic, and the dopamine response stays muted. Some research even suggests that genetic differences in dopamine receptors may influence how strongly a person is drawn to spectator-based competition. In other words, if scores and outcomes leave you emotionally untouched, it's not necessarily a matter of attitude or effort. Your brain may never have classified sports as a rewarding activity to begin with. For many sports fans, emotional investment in a team is also a form of identity reinforcement. When a team wins, people say, "We won." When the team loses, it quickly becomes, "They lost." That shift in language isn't accidental. It reflects a psychological process. Psychology calls this phenomenon basking in reflected glory. Success achieved by a group is temporarily absorbed into one's self-image, boosting confidence and self-worth. For some people, this mechanism plays an important role. When daily life doesn't consistently provide a sense of achievement or validation, sports outcomes offer a quick, low-effort way to feel successful by association. But people who aren't drawn to sports tend to rely much less on this kind of external projection. Their sense of identity is more internally anchored. Self-worth is not regularly adjusted based on wins and losses that occur outside their control. This doesn't mean they care less. It means their identity is structured differently. Value comes from personal choices, long-term commitments, and lived experience, not from collective outcomes that reset every week. As a result, a game rarely feels emotionally destabilizing. Missing a discussion doesn't feel like exclusion, and there's no need to attach the self to the success or failure of strangers. You're not disengaged. You're simply not using victory as a way to define who you are. Here's something that may sound counterintuitive. Many sports fans actually score higher on certain measures of empathy, not because they are more sensitive by nature, but because they regularly practice investing emotion in people they have no direct relationship with. A stranger wearing the same jersey can instantly feel like one of us. Shared symbols activate shared emotion. But people who don't care about sports are not lacking empathy. Their emotional resources are simply allocated differently. Psychology suggests that deep emotional engagement is limited. Attention, concern, emotional intensity all function like a budget. When you invest heavily in one domain, there is less available for another. If you tend to invest your emotional energy in close relationships, personal projects, creative work, ideas, art, or social issues, there is naturally less left for spectator-based narratives. You may notice this in everyday life. You can lose sleep over a friend's pain. You can pour hours into refining your work. You can be deeply moved by music, literature, nature, or thought. But when it comes to a game played by strangers, with no direct impact on your lived reality, your emotional system simply doesn't activate. Research supports this pattern. People with low interest in sports often score higher in openness to experience and sensitivity to aesthetics. You're not emotionally distant, you're selective. Your emotions are reserved for spaces where you can participate, influence outcomes, and form real connections. By now, something may be clear. The real issue was never, why don't you care about sports? It's that the world quietly treats one emotional style as the default. When noise, excitement, and collective passion are seen as proof of engagement, those who don't participate are easily misread as cold, detached, or indifferent. Psychology tells a different story. You are not lacking meaning. You are operating within a different system. For some people, meaning comes from collective narratives, competition, rivalry, victory, belonging. For others, meaning comes from direct experience, what you're doing, who you're becoming, and how fully you inhabit the present moment. You don't need someone else's win to confirm your existence. What matters more is whether you are participating, creating, and experiencing a life that feels genuinely yours. This is not better, and it is not worse. It is simply different. And when you stop forcing yourself to match an emotional rhythm that was never meant for you, you may realize something quietly reassuring. Your life has never been empty. Its intensity just doesn't live in stadiums. So the next time someone asks, "Did you watch the game last night?" and you truly didn't care, you don't need a long explanation. You're not broken. You didn't miss out. You simply chose to place your attention, emotion, and time into another kind of life, one that feels closer to who you are. This is happy psychology. May understanding bring healing and healing bring growth.